was wondering when you would arrive, traveler. Are introductions truly necessary? You already know that I'm Griselda, the owner of the tavern you are currently occupying, the Drunken Goose. And considering I have been expecting you, I am fully aware of who you are. Did you think my brother would keep quiet? Precisely. You have been in his company long enough to know that he adores the sound of his own voice. He could prattle on just about anything, including the most recent object of his affections. Yes, that would be you. You appear perplexed, given how deeply your brow is furrowed and your lips are pursed. Have you not realized you've caught my brother's eye? Ah, you noticed that Cassian had taken a slight interest, but assumed it was nothing more than passing infatuation. It seems that you are terribly mistaken, traveler. In all my years, I've never seen my brother so enamored of someone. You must be truly enchanting, for you managed to captivate a man whose talents lie in wooing for an evening, only to bid farewell the next morning. I would be lying if I said I was not the least bit curious about you. I am not jesting. Even though my brother frequently vexes me, I would never jest about something as serious as that. In fact, I have a tale that will prove how sincere his affections are. While I admit that was a clever attempt to persuade me to reveal the details, it will not work. I was raised alongside two brothers who thought they could pull the wool over my eyes. Much to their chagrin, I saw through their deception, just as easily as I can see through yours. Since you are so eager for the story, let us have a trade then. I will only tell you if you purchase a meal, a beverage, or both. That is why you are here, is it not? Indeed, the day is dwindled, and night will fall upon us soon. There is no better time than the present to have your evening meal. If you are famished, then you've come to the right place. No one ever leaves my tavern feeling unsatiated. Of that I am certain. Yes, you may inquire about this evening's selection. I prepared a roasted leg of wild boar, which rests atop an ample pile of potatoes, onions, and carrots. If you desire lighter fare, there is bread, cheese, and pickled herring. Your preference is the heartier meal. Very well. And what will you be drinking? You are aware you are in a tavern, yes. Of course I have a variety of beverages available. Well, what will it be? Mead, cider, or ale? I have a bit of wine as well, though it is significantly more costly because it was brought here from another land. Only the wealthiest of guests typically choose the wine. You would like the strongest, most potent ale that I have. Are you absolutely certain of your decision? As the owner, it is my duty to ask. I must give a fair warning, for I cannot have my guests falling to the ground, writhing in pain, simply because they think they can handle my beverages. I do not know what kind of drivel was served in your previous town, but it was likely not up to my standards. My strongest beverage often causes the most burliest and garish of individuals to weep and beg for mercy. Are you prepared for that? Since you have given me your word, I will take it. Once you take a swallow, we shall see how long your bravado lasts. Oh, you will eagerly take the challenge. You are quite the determined thing. I must say, for someone as innocent-looking as you are, I did not expect such a response from you. I had assumed you would care for a mild cider instead. I agree with your sentiment. At times, appearances can be deceiving. Consider me, for example. Most assume that I am nothing more than some timid maiden whose sole desire is to please those around her. As soon as I open my mouth to release a sharp retort, or point the blade of my dagger right at someone's throat, any demurred impression of me quickly vanishes. Over time, people grow accustomed to my behavior, and if they do not, it is no concern of mine. If anyone is the least bit bothered by who I am, then they should bugger off. Oi! You there! While we are on the subject of people who should bugger off, I have some business to handle. I will return in a moment. Garrick, I have told you several times that this is not some rowdy establishment. I do not care that you are a recent and loyal guest. I will gladly take the loss if it means I do not have to see your wretched face, listen to your body remarks, or clean your filthy messes. This is the best tavern in this god-forsaken world, and you have been treating it like complete rubbish. I have had enough. If you do not leave this instant, I will gladly chase you out with my largest and most deadly knife. Do you understand? Oh, you would like to argue? If I were you, I would not dare. My largest weapon may be in the kitchen, but I have a very sharp dagger strapped to my inner thigh, and I will pull it out to use on you if you are not careful. You do not believe me? Well, here it is. You are fortunate that this table is not your face or your throat. Now off you go. I will not say it twice. Should have done that after the first time. Right, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted by that guest? Oh, that? That is nothing to be concerned about. Simply an average Wednesday, truthfully. I have similar altercations every week. If I feel that my tavern is disrespected in any way, then I require that a guest vacate the premises. Garrick was not as vile in the beginning, but during the past few visits he has become bolder and fouler. I hope that he heeds my warning, but if he does not, then I know where the next resting place will be for my dagger. What a wise observation. Yes, I am unapologetically myself. I never try to sweeten the words that I say or the actions that I do. I am not here to please anyone, and no one shall have control over me. Why should I play the fool and be some well-mannered, quiet, subservient person? That would contradict my very nature, and it would be nearly as torturous as the breaking wheel. For reasons I do not understand, you are smiling. What has caused that expression upon your face? You find my callous nature refreshing. Yes, I'm fine. Your words simply startled me, that is all. I would like to know why you believe that. I have never heard of such a thing. Nevertheless, your explanation pleases me. You are quite a mystifying creature, traveler. I can see why you fascinate Cassian. I'm starting to grow more curious myself. I may find you intriguing, but that hardly means I'm fond of you. I do, however, commend you on the wishful thinking. As entertaining as this conversation is, you are here for a purpose. Your meal and drink will arrive shortly. Give me a moment. Here you are, 1 plate of roasted wild boar, and an ale so strong that it may cause you possible harm. Oh, do not look so alarmed. If the worst came to pass, I would send for my younger brother Florian, who you know is the village's apothecarist. He would arrive swiftly and treat you with one of his herbal remedies. Normally, I would not bother to call upon Florian's assistance, as I believe that my guests should suffer in order to understand and learn the consequences of their unwise actions. However, Cassian would be outraged if I returned you in less than perfect condition. He might even challenge me to a duel, which would be highly amusing, as we both know he would lose. Not only am I the superior fighter, but it is evident that the only sword the man knows how to swing is the one attached to the lower half of his body. Goodness, your face has deepened with a flush. Did you find my words unsettling? Oh, good. They were meant to appall you. Words aside, it is now time for you to have a sip of your ale. As much as it pains me to admit it, you are handling the ale exceptionally well. You have not flinched, nor have you groaned in misery, which is truly astonishing. Perhaps there is room for me to grow fond of you. It is a pleasure to know that I am not the only one in the village who can drink all these sorry fools under the table. Ah, I see you have not forgotten our deal. Quite the intelligent one you are. Very well, you may consume your meal while I begin the tale of my confrontation with Cassian. This should prove that he is incredibly fond of you. Before the sun had even risen, my brother was knocking on my door, demanding to be let in. I thought he had been afflicted by some strange illness, for he never rushes to see me in the morning. I had half a mind to send for Florian, in fact. One of his remedies would have healed Cassian's ailment, but then I thought better of it. It was more likely that Cassian needed my traditional remedy for him. A sharp blow to the face with my hand, followed by a soothing cup of tea. Begrudgingly, I rose from my slumber to allow him to enter my home. Imagine my surprise when I found him in perfectly good health, with a besotted smile on his face. I asked him what in God's blood could have possibly dragged him from his bedchamber at that hour. But all he wanted to do was discuss some enchanting person he had met the night before. I did not want to hear any details regarding his latest bedmate, so I chased him back into the frigid outdoors with my dagger. At that moment, he swore to me that you had not fallen into bed with him. I was so startled that the dagger clattered out of my hands and onto the ground. Never before had I heard Cassian, the village philanderer, announce something as staggering as that. I insisted that he come indoors for tea, so that I could ask him questions, and that is how I learned of you. Do you now believe that Cassian's affections run deep? Good. What I find most extraordinary is how Cassian wishes to remain in your company, but not for the sole purpose of wooing you into bed. I sense that he truly and genuinely cares for you, whether you become his bedmate or not. Based on my understanding of the situation, it seems that you do not have an interest in becoming acquainted with him on an intimate level. The fact that my brother's charms do not easily sway you may be enough for me to consider you an ally, or perhaps even a friend. I said perhaps. I cannot guarantee it. Do not become haughty. If you wish to be my friend, then you must not behave in such a way. Flattery certainly helps, yes. I am pleased that you find your meal delectable. Your roast is more than half eaten now, which is a clear indication that you are relishing it. The tavern is an extension of me, and I work tirelessly to maintain it. Any compliments regarding the food, the beverages, or the general atmosphere will encourage me to consider you in a positive light. Yes, I am highly skilled at what I do, and I enjoy being here at the tavern. It is a place that has felt more like a home to me than my own living quarters. I do have other passions, however. Do you see the wooden sculptures over there on that shelf? The ones that resemble wolves? I crafted those. Wood carving is a favorite pastime of mine. Truthfully, if I did not have this tavern, I would likely open my own shop to sell my wares. Thank you. It is nice to hear that you find them aesthetically pleasing. While certain guests provide praise every now and then, none of them have been as earnest and as enthusiastic as you. Your considerate words are much appreciated. What about you? During tea this morning, Cassian mentioned that you were once a tailor. I assumed you created that cloak of yours. It is eye-catching, I must admit. The crimson color suits you. Yes, I am being truthful. It is a stunning and well-designed cloak. Do you realize how many individuals would flock to your tailoring shop if you were to establish one here? Nearly the whole village, I would say. It has been many years since we had a tailor. The last one perished without leaving someone behind to take care of his shop. The building was never demolished, so it is still tucked away in a corner of the village. It would likely need to be cleaned and reconstructed, however. Once those tasks are accomplished, I could imagine you there, working to bring style and vibrancy back into the villagers' wardrobes. Actually, Cassian told me that you were considering staying in Mystic Haven, if you found it acceptable. Did your day with him convince you? Is that so? You found the village so charming that you would like to stay? That is rather exhilarating news. No, I am not delighted on your behalf. And this is by no means any indication that I'm fond of you. What would give you that idea? You are a menace, traveler. I am curious, what inspired you to make your decision? Ah, you found the shops quaint and distinguished, but you were far more interested in the people and their lives. You could realistically envision yourself here, establishing your own tailoring shop, and becoming involved with the community. That is good, and I agree that the villagers in Mystic Haven are among the friendliest and warmest in the world. That is, if you exclude people like Garrick. Did you make Bernard's acquaintance this morning? I am glad that you interacted with him. He is a well-mannered man, but beyond that, his skills as a baker are unmatched. The first time I tasted a loaf of his bread, I demanded that we work together. Now he provides the bread for this tavern. I visit him in the mornings, right after sunrise, to collect the day's loaves to sell. You could not help yourself, so you indulged in half a loaf while you visited him. Pray tell, how was it? It was the best you ever had. I am not surprised in the slightest. As I mentioned, he is brilliant at his craft. Other than Bernard, who else did you speak with? You met the physician, the shoemaker, the scribe, the armorer, the blacksmith, and the stonemason. Goodness, it seems that you have had a lively day. Each one of them enjoys long, extensive conversations that can last for hours. No wonder you appeared somewhat bedraggled when you arrived this evening. I assume you also met Florian? You did not. Was he not in the apothecary today? Ah, he received a letter from a faraway town requesting his help. The town did not have an apothecarist, so it was in dire need of someone who could provide the necessary remedies for a few citizens who had suddenly fallen ill. You saw him on his horse, racing out of the village, so you did not have the opportunity to make a formal introduction. And that is a shame. You would have likely found him endearing. Yes, you heard that correctly. Even though Cassian is the one who charms individuals, Florian is the one who people should prefer to spend time with. However, he drives me to madness because he's too compassionate. He is a natural caretaker and would do anything for anyone, even if it meant harming himself in the process. If he were more callous, then perhaps certain individuals would not take advantage of him. Ever since he opened his apothecary, Elixium, he handles guests during the most inconvenient of times because he has never learned to turn anyone away. On some days, he does not eat or sleep, choosing to worry and fuss over others instead. That is a fair question. Yes, I do believe that some of Cassian's traits would benefit Florian. Cassian, at least, has learned to form strict boundaries and maintain them. Florian, on the other hand, will bend to the whim of anyone. One brother is far too self-assured and vain, and the other one is not self-assured and vain enough. It is frustrating to observe them, truthfully. Although I would never wish Florian to be as promiscuous as Cassian. That would be horrific. As it is, Florian has never shown interest in another human being in that regard. Why do you appear disappointed? When you saw Florian on his horse, you found him attractive, did you not? That is why you were disappointed, and why your cheeks have deepened to a red that nearly matches your cloak. You slay me! Florian is truly the apple of your eye. Your mouth denies it, but your eyes reveal the truth. I simply do not understand. You've not even exchanged words with him. You did not need to, for your heart already called out to him. Before he left the village on his horse, you observed him. You happened to be walking near the apothecary during the mid-afternoon, and the window was open. You watched as he provided his remedies to some of the villagers. The way he spoke and cared for them was enough to convince you that he was a good man. I suppose I cannot fault you for that. He is a good man, and he will undoubtedly bring joy to somebody's life someday. Perhaps it might even be you. I will give you this warning, though. Should you choose to explore your affections, if you harm either Florian or Cassian, I will not hesitate to turn my dagger on you. Do you understand? Good. Oh, your face is even more flushed now. Is it the conversation that is the cause of your reaction, or is it the ale? I am jesting. I know that it is not the ale. It appears that you have finished yours and your meal as well. Are you satiated for the evening? You would like another ale? Yes, that is fondness in my voice. Perhaps I am fond of you, though that could be because of your impressive drinking abilities, and nothing more. Oh, shut your mouth and do not smirk at me. What did I say about becoming haughty? All right, I will have another ale ready for you. When I return, we can continue our conversation. I have a feeling that we will have many more in the future. considering you will be calling Mystic Haven your new home. Oh, you are wondering about living quarters. Fret not. Due to the nature of my profession, I speak with everyone in the village, so I know the latest news. At the moment, there is one space available. A married couple recently left the village to live elsewhere, so their home is vacant. I may be able to negotiate with the council, and if the discussion is successful, that dwelling may become your new living quarters. Yes, I would do that for you. On one condition, of course. You are correct. I never participate in any activity without drawing a benefit from it myself. We shall have another trade then. I will speak to the village council. If you create a cloak for me that is similar to yours, I would prefer the color to be violet, however. Are those terms agreeable? Excellent. I will visit the council in the morning, then. In the meantime, give me a moment to fetch your ale. I would like to see how many more you can handle. Hi everyone, this is Julia. You may know me for some of my scripts, which typically hang out on the subreddit ASMR Script Haven, as well as some other subreddits. There have been quite a few voice actors or recording artists who have filled my scripts before, and I've loved and appreciated every single one of those fills. They truly bring me joy to listen to, and I commend every voice actor who has taken the challenge of my scripts. I know they are super long and they can be kind of complex, but thank you so much for doing that for me and for the listening community as well. So this is the first time that I have recorded my own material, and if I'm being honest, it is probably the last time I will record my own material. I knew going into this that voice acting was not going to be my thing, and I was right. This process is challenging, and kudos to anyone who tries it and is successful with it and loves it, because I don't. I love the writing part of it, and that's where I will remain, I believe. But I wanted to give Griselda a try because the Mystic Haven Chronicles, the series that includes Griselda, Cassian, and Florian, has been something that I find very near and dear to my heart. I enjoyed the writing process from conception all the way to physically writing it, to releasing it. The series is something I've just really grown to love, and I wanted to bring a voice to Griselda. I thought she deserved that. Parts of her are actually modeled after me as well. So she is a character I am quite fond of. But beyond this recording, I will probably never have my voice presented in this manner again, which is fine. I will stick to writing. So, if you enjoyed this, and I hope that you did, let me know. Otherwise, you can always stop by on Reddit and say hi. I am there more often than I would like to admit. So I will check my messages and everything if you want to stop in and say hi, or hi in the comments. Anyway, thank you so much for clicking on this video and listening. I appreciate it. Thank you, and goodbye.